Jai Nandalala Madhyali Charanam, everybody. Welcome to this beautiful session today. We speak about the most powerful, magnificent, splendid goddess Meenakshi. Meenakshi of Madurai. The most beautiful. This is one of those times when the goddess herself has come down on earth and ruled the land. We've spoken about many avatarams, but this is one of those which are they stand out, where we see the goddess as a ruler, so powerful, as a warrior, not like the graceful princess which she also has been. So she can be both the extremes. And this avataram shows you the other extreme of her, the most powerful, a warrior princess, like none other. Let's get to know her better. This is a time when we come to know about her father, her parents, the Pandyas, the kings who ruled at that time, and that beautiful time, and the history, the beautiful, rich history of our land. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful journey. Of course, this when I speak about Madurai, the one thing that stands out is the temple, the Meenakshi Amman temple. It's such a magnificent, splendid, grand, and spectacular. It's so glorious. It just stands in your head. It doesn't matter what religion you are. People just flock there to just see that. It's just so beautiful that everybody want to come and see it. Correct? It's not just for us Hindus. It's for everybody. That's how beautiful. It's like the palace. It's her palace. And of course, the queen of the land resides there. It has to be the most splendid. And originally, this was constructed by the Pandya king. And when you see the books and the Puranas, they say that this was constructed by the survivors of the Kumari Kandam. Now, Kumari Kandam, I want to tell you a little bit about Kumari Kandam later, but let me tell you who built this temple first. Kulasekara Pandyan was his name. And this temple is more than 2,500 years old. It was constructed in the heart of Madurai, and it is in the banks of the river Vaigai. Now, we know that this temple has gone through a lot of destruction period, especially in the 14th century when the temple was looted by Malik Kafur and the Mughals, and lots of things were looted, gems and gold and silver. It was the most richest. Everything was looted, so much destruction to the construction and structures. But later in the 16th century, it was revived, rebuilt by the Nayakars. And now whatever standing there, that rich structure is one that is built by the Nayakars. And of course, the British came, and then later the structure was again expanded by the Vijayanagara, and lastly, the Thirumalai Nayaka was the one who really did a lot of grand work around the temple. Now, we always go to the roots, right? And where does the root take us? Now, I told you I want to talk about this Kumari Kandam. When they say about this temple, the first thing they say is the Meenakshi temple was built by the survivors of Kumari Kandam. Who are this? What is this Kumari Kandam? It is a submerged continent. And this is mentioned in all of our Puranas and ancient literatures, like so many, like Silapadikaram, Ayantiram and Manimegalai, all of them have this Kumari Gandam mentioned in it. Now, what is this Kumari Gandam? It is believed that there was a land below Kanyakumari, the tip of Kanyakumari. It is stretched, the land stretched beyond Kanyakumari and stretched on either sides towards Madagascar in Africa, the island in Madagascar, and on the other side towards Australia. That's how much the land stretched below Kanyakumari. You can just imagine and picture this in your head when I say that. Below Kanyakumari, there was a land that stretched on either sides towards Madagascar on one side and towards Australia on the other side. Now, this land was the Pandya land. And the whole land, it stretched about 4,000 miles stretch. And the whole thing was ruled by the Pandyas. Can you imagine? Just imagine how big the Pandyas were. The whole kingdom was so huge and it was so powerful. Now, according to Silapadikaram, one of the 5 great epics of Tamil literature, written in the 2nd century, it states very clearly that the cruel sea took the Pandya land. This is what it's mentioned. The cruel sea took the Pandya land. So now, of course, the whole land is submerged inside the sea. So this is mentioned in the Silapadikaram. Now, there are other literatures also that they mention about this cruel sea coming and taking away this land. Now, according to Aindiram, the land was a huge area where the Paltuli or the Paruli river of Kumari Kandam rivers originated from the Periya Malai. That Periya Malai represents the Meru Malai, and it also tells us that it had 49 lands in Kumari Kandam. So all this is mentioned in the literature. Now, Mani Meghalai, that one, in that book, it mentions that about multiple tsunamis hit the city and it was swallowed by the sea. Now, this event is supported by archaeological finds also in the area, submerged ruins off the coast of the modern Pumpuhar. It goes back 3rd century BCE. Now, according to Matsya Purana, Manu was the king of the Dravida Desam in Kumari Kandam. See, again, everything points to that place. And it states that this was there once. This land was there. Now, in Garuda Puranam also it's mentioned that Kumari Kandam, how the sea took the land of the Pandyan kings. It says, it specifies the Pandya land was taken away by the sea, after which they conquered. Now the Pandyas, after the land was taken away, they conquered new lands to replace the ones they lost, and they made Madurai their capital. So somehow we reached Madurai, all the things, and then we reached Madurai. So they made Madurai their capital. Now, another small discovery is the languages spoken by the Australian tribes, African tribes near this area, near this coast, Andaman and Nicobar tribes and Lakshadweep tribes are very identical to the Tamil language. If you want, you can just go check it out. It's actually very similar. It's incredible. You'll be astonished. Now, back to our beautiful temple, the roots. We went to what is Kumari Kandam, where these Pandya kings came from and how they established Madurai as their capital. Now, how did this temple come to be here? Now, Lord Indra, it goes back to Lord Indra. he wanted to atone his sins. He had done a lot of sins. So he wanted to atone it. So he came here to the Kadamba forest. Here there was a Kadamba forest. There was no temple then. It was the land was covered by this Kadamba trees. It's a Kadamba forest. And in the midst of this forest, there was a Swayambhu Lingam. Swayambhu Lingam. And that is where Indra wanted to come and pray to this Lingam and offer his prayers to this Lingam. So he came here and he built a shrine for the Lingam. And the Vimanam is still there. That is the shrine which was built by Lord Indra, is there in the temple. And it's believed that it is built by Lord Indra. And I know I don't have to tell you every time that, hey, there is no such thing as mythology. These things have happened. These things have all happened. Our history is too rich. And if you go inch by inch, you'll get lost. It's too many things. Even this Meenakshi temple, I had to really crunch it a bit so that it's easier to understand. So much information, rich. Now, this temple, again, is a celebration of love between the Princess Meenakshi and Lord Sundareshwarar. Now, Meenakshi, let's understand more about the roots again, how Meenakshi came to be, the goddess. Meenakshi means fish eyes, beautiful fish eyes. Sundareshwarar means handsome, Sundar, handsome Lord. Now, how did they come to be? There was a great Pandyan king, Malayadwaja Pandyan, and the queen Kanchana Malay. Now, they had no child. So always the king is concerned when they don't have a child. Who's going to take over the throne after me? Correct? That's what every king worries about, the kingdom. Who's going to come after him, take care of his prajas and the kingdom? So they had no children, they had no child, and their guru guided them to do a yagna. And that way they can get a son. Now they both prayed in front of the Lord, in front of the yagna for a son. But there emerged from the fire a beautiful child, a girl child. They prayed for a son, but here comes a beautiful girl. The king saw the child and was a little concerned in the head, the immediate reaction was, oh no, it's a girl. So there's a voice. They heard this voice that she's not an ordinary girl. She is none other than the goddess Parvati herself. So she had such beautiful eyes, that they named her Meenakshi. And she had 3 breasts. That was a unique factor, for which the voice also said that the minute she sees her lover, her to-be husband, that breast will vanish. The 3rd one will vanish. So the parents were assured that, okay, this is not an ordinary child. And also the voice guided them that they should not bring her up like a daughter. They should bring her up like a son. So don't daughter her. When you daughter her, it's like a princess, right? Don't do that. Don't do this. And you protect her and keep her in the chambers, and it's like a delicate darling. But no, that is what the voice is telling the parents, the king and the queen, that you wanted a son, and she's going to be that. She's going to be your son. So bring her up like you would if it were a son. Now, they got it. They bowed down, they did all their namaskaram, and they took this child and brought her up, just as the voice guided them. She was taught all the shastras and weaponry and literature and fighting skills and everything. What they would have done for a son, they did for goddess, the, the princess. Now soon she was made the ruler of the kingdom. Now she's extremely beautiful, strong, and she was a pride of Madurai. I mean, I don't have to say, you go to Madurai, everybody's name will be Meenakshi. She is definitely the pride of Madurai. Everybody, almost everyone will, their pet name at least will be Meenakshi. In every house there's a Meenakshi. So that's how the pride of Madurai, when I literally. Now, as a queen, she went to conquer every region. She waged a war, like she wanted to conquer the whole world. She headed out south, east, west. She conquered everything. The only thing that was remaining was north. And she headed north. She headed all the way north and conquered every region. And what is in the northmost? Oh, beautiful Lord sitting there. Kailasha. That was all was left. She went straight there. Going to Kailasham is such a difficult thing for all of us. This goddess just went without, any problems. What can I say? Oh man, that is amazing. So she just headed there, defeated all the Bhutaganas, and there she saw the Lord. Yeah, those who have been to Kailasham, have you seen Lord Shiva? No. That's another thing. To see Lord Shiva, right? Only the goddess can. After all, her other half, where can he hide? Huh? Well, she was the very few who could actually reach Kailash so easily. To spot Shiva is another thing, right? Now, the minute she cast her eyes on him, she was in the wage of war, right? That sword and everything. And she cast her eyes on him and she just stood and she froze. Yeah, after all that, who can take that beauty so easily? That Lord in all of his simplicity. Let's talk about Narayana. He's another level. He will draw you with all his splendor. He's like the Devi. Devi and him are very similar. They have their own unique attracting mode. But Lord Shiva, on the other hand, being simplest of the simplest of the simplest Lord, still have the same kind of attraction. I don't know what it is, but have you ever gone to this Shiva temple and you feel drawn to that lingam? It just draws you in. That's the power of Lord Shiva. The most simple, but he gets your attention. Well, as soon as she laid her eyes on him, cast her eyes on him, her third breast disappeared, and she automatically dropped her sword to the ground. She froze. She froze. She fell in love with this Lord immediately. It's like the eyes locked, both their eyes. The Lord, as if he was waiting for her. And all the devas were enjoying the sight when Goddess Meenakshi and the Lord locked their eyes. All the devas were so happy. At last, that has happened. That moment, they were waiting. And the Lord was also waiting. The Lord was also waiting for her. And she's here, and he was so happy to see her. And that is when she realized that she is not the Princess Meenakshi, but she's the Avadaram of Goddess Parvati. Many times in our scriptures, we have seen many times when the goddess had to be reminded who she was. At that time, when that appropriate time comes, that's when the Avadaram understands that they are not an ordinary human being, but an avatar. So many times we've seen that. Now, he assures her that he will come and he will take her. He will take her to be his wife. So with that assurance, she returned back to Madurai, anxiously waiting for the Lord. Now, in Madurai, everybody knew, because the way she went out of Madurai is like to conquer, and then someone conquered her. When she returned back, she came in a different form. She came in a form that she had fallen in love. The princess of Madurai had fallen in love. As promised, Lord Shiva came in the form of Sundareshwarar and married beautiful Meenakshi in a beautiful ceremony called Thiruvalaiyaadal. All the devas, all the devargal from everywhere came to participate in this. Lord Vishnu, he came as the brother of Amba. He arrived on time, gave the bride away. Lord Brahma conducted the marriage as per the Vedic rules. It's beautiful, beautiful, isn't it? Just think about it. This happened in the land. This happened in the land. Even Lord Shiva took another form as Sundareshwarar. Think about it. And he came to be her husband. The land Madurai is Kailasham on earth. Many poets have referred this place as Shiva Rajadhani, capital of Shiva kingdom. Now there's a unique column here, Potramare column, in this temple. It's a tank of the golden lotus. It's created by Lord Shiva by hitting the earth with his trident. And it caused holy springs called Shiva Ganga to sprout out. Now, Indira, when he did his puja for the Lord here in the Kadamba forest, he took the lotus from this pond. He got his lotus to offer it to the Lord from this pond. So all his Shiva puja he did by getting the lotus from this pond. Now a little more about this Potramare column. That means the pond with the golden lotus. The place, the area around this tank was once a meeting place of the Tamil Sangam, the ancient academy of poets. In one of our sessions, I have in detail mentioned about this Tamil Sangam. The first person in charge of the Tamil Sangam was Sage Agasthyar. When we did Sage Agasthyar, I mentioned about it. Those days, poets would come and place their work of literature in this pond. This is how it was those days. Think about it. they have a plank on which they would place their work of literature, and then that would be then put inside the pond. Now, only those that did not sink into the pond were considered worthy of attention. After all, who created this pond? Lord Shiva. Now, you can't even put your mind into this, you can't even place, there's no logic or anything. There's nothing logic in spirituality. So that literature that did not sink was considered worthy. The ones that sunk was not considered worthy. So the pond decided it. And of course, all these great poets were sitting around it, and they would witness this right in front of them. So this was how it was done before. There was no votes, or there was nobody, reviews writing. It was so simple, right? Now, he made it so easy. Let me put it that way. Lord Shiva made it so easy. No arguments, right? 64 miracles of the Lord are painted on the walls surrounding the pond. Since this tirtham was created before all other tirthams, it's called Adi Tirtham. And it has much greater importance, and it is also called Parama Tirtham. And it is also called Jnana Tirtham, as before, because if someone dips in this pond, they are confirmed prosperity. And it's also called Mukti Tirtham, as it grants mukti. And because Ganga has come, why do we go and immerse ourselves in Ganga? Same reason, right? So Ganga has been brought here by Lord Shiva. And this is, the pond has Ganges, the Ganga water in it. So that is why it's called Shiva Ganga. And I mean, what can I say? It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. So Lord Shiva has blessed this pond and said no fish or marine life would ever grow in it. And well, till date, there is no marine life in this pond. There is no marine life in this pond. Isn't that something? Beautiful. Beautiful. Now, the beautiful part, the most beautiful part. Our goddess Meenakshi. Wow. She's also called Angayar Kanni, eyes shaped like a fish. Now, all the goddesses in the other temples, right? They would have their hands like that, Abhaya Mudra. She has one hand which holds a parrot and the other one down beautifully. She stands in a very beautiful, graceful manner. I mean, no model, nobody, actress, model can stand like her. The most graceful, the most beautiful. If you stand in front of her, you'll be like, can I have some more moment, and it'll never end. Every moment is like, it's gone, and like, they'll be like, move. Because it's like 5,000 people in a day. You don't have time to sit and see her. You never get enough. You'll never get enough of her. Even if you do, it's not enough. That's how beautiful she is. She blesses everyone with her eyes. That's the most significant part of this temple. She blesses everyone with her eyes because her eyes are always open. Eyes are always open. She never shuts her eyes. 24/7, her eyes are open. And have you seen her fish? The fish don't have eyelids, it's always open, right? It's always open. Meenakshi, the mother, the fish protects its eggs just like that. She protects her devotees. She's the mother protecting her devotees. 24/7, eyes are open. And she blesses everyone who come there with the look of her eyes. Nobody will miss her glance. Nobody misses her glance. Even if you wink, blink like that, you may miss someone. Here she is 24/7. Even the temple doors are shut. Her eyes are never shut. Eyes never shut. That's why Madurai is also called Tunga Nagaram, city that never sleeps. Now, it's a beautiful verse in Lalita Sahasranamam, it reminded me of this verse. Unmesha nimishotpanna vipanna bhuvanavali. Okay. She who creates and destroys the universe by opening and closing her eyelids. Just giving the importance of our eyes here. That's why I wanted to read this. She who creates and destroys the universe by opening and closing her eyelids. Sahasra Shirsha Vadana Saharakshi Sahasrapat. Now, Sahasra Shirsha Vadana is what? She who has thousands of faces and heads. Sahasra, thousands. Saharakshi, she who has 1,000 eyes. Sahasrapat, 1,000 feet. Padam, path. How powerful this goddess is. That takes a little moment to digest, right? Huh? When I say all this, that's when we understand how Sri Amma was so down to our level. Oh my God, so much power. She just kept it all instilled inside. The minute she showed us something, we'll get scared and run away, don't we? Huh? Incredible. How she just, oh wow. The Ambal idol. The Ambal idol now. Coming to the idol. It's pure emerald stone. Maragadam. And of course, this temple is globally famous. It was nominated as one of the 7 wonders of the world. Can you imagine? I think it's more than that, It's more than that. Now, this is also the temple, coming to the beautiful Lord, where Lord Shiva danced, changing his legs, his feet, as Lord Nataraja. Now, Indra and Varuna worshipped here in this temple. Now, all the pujas are offered to the goddess first and then to Lord Shiva. Whatever it is, whatever it is, the Lord always wants the Devi in the first thing. For everything, he says her first. Such a gentleman, such a gentleman. Always for the Devi first and then him. That simplicity every man needs to learn from Lord Shiva. Being the family man, right? He is the family man. And he actually is such a good role model, and there's nobody like him. Nobody. There's a Airam Kal Mandapam here, 1,000-pillared Mandapam, and there's 5 musical pillars each producing a different note when you tap on it. How did they even do this? I mean, think about it. How did they do this? Even with all the science and technology now, I'm telling you, they can even come close to this. A person who builds a temple will know the actual difficulties that are faced, the challenges faced during construction. It's not easy to build a temple. Only if the divine supports, only if it is walking with you, holding your hand, you can build a temple. They say you must have done lot of punyas and lot of lives to build a temple. So now Lord Nataraja is in the center of this mandapam, and here is where the Lord changed the feet for his devotee. Now the story of this, the Lord changing his feet, is beautiful. It's in Thiruvalaiyaadal, the Purana. He has done 64 Thiruvalaiyaadals. It's funny, and all of them are in Madurai because the Lord was the ruler for some time. The Lord, along with the goddess Meenakshi, were ruling this place for some time. Now there was a king named Rajashekara Pandyan, son of Vikrama Pandyan, who ruled Madurai, and he was a master of 63 arts. They say, oh, he's a master of 64 arts. That 64 arts is like, it's a sum of all the arts one can be good at. So when they say he knows all the 64 arts, that means he's a all-rounder. Those days, that's how they used to, introduce people. Now this king was a master of 63 arts, one less. The only one remaining was dancing, which he didn't know. So he was thinking, who's the best dancer? The only person who came to his mind was Lord Nataraja. Don't you agree with me? He is. I mean, I think we all agree with him. He's the best dancer. There's nobody else. Well, then he thought, Lord Nataraja is forever dancing. Here's a point. Lord Nataraja is forever dancing. So how could he teach me? He has no time to teach me because he's always dancing. So he learned this art from somebody else. This king learned this from somebody else. Now, while he was learning this, and he had to stand on one leg, the pose where he had to stand for one leg, he couldn't even do it for 10 seconds. He couldn't even stand for 10 seconds in that pose. And that's when it kind of dawned on him that how is the Lord standing forever like that? Because in the mandapam, this is how he's standing. With one leg up and one leg down, like forever. He felt miserable. He couldn't even do it for 10 seconds. So he runs to the mandapam and he weeps and he asks the Lord, you must be in so much pain. You have the same feet on the floor and one feet up in the air. How are you doing this? Like, this is the bhakti, this innocent bhakti that the Lord get drawn to. He gets drawn to this bhakti. That bhakti where you see that Lord as one of us. You don't see him as the Lord. You see him as another person. Oh, he also has feelings. He's also going to be hurt. That kind of bhakti. And after the puja, that day, Navaratri happened, and after the puja, he was standing there and he pleaded with the Lord, Lord, you cannot stand in one leg now. You have to change your leg. You have to change your leg. Rest the other leg. Give it some rest. Please change the other leg. If you don't, I will kill myself, he says. The king, and he was pretty darn serious. He was very serious. He was not just saying it. He was very serious when he said, I will kill myself if you don't change your leg. Saying that, he closed his eyes in meditation with eyes, teary eyes. He had tears running down his eyes. He said, please change your legs. And when he opened his eyes, he was excited to see the Lord with the other leg up. So previously the Lord was with the left leg up and the right leg down. Okay. So when he closed his eyes and opened it, he had the right leg up and the left leg down. This is the only temple where he has his right leg up. Every other Nataraja has the left leg up and the right is down. It's the only temple. And he changed it for his beloved devotee. Oh my God, I cannot get enough of this. Right? Think about it. It has to sink in. It's not just another story. It's a true incident. It is inscribed in the temple walls. It's happened to a king. Not an ordinary person. Happened to a king. Beautiful. Anybody can be his devotee. Here the king was. Now when he saw the other leg up, the Lord has changed his leg for him. He was speechless. He asked for a boon from the Lord that he would stay in Madurai in the same dancing pose. And yeah, that's why the Lord is in the same dancing pose with the same leg down. Now, this is from the Thiruvalaiyaadal Puranam. And there are a lot of other beautiful stories of the Lord in Madurai. We're going to explore Madurai more in our next session also. Before I stop, I want to tell you an incident that happened with Amma in Madurai. It's very close to my heart. It's very close to my heart, and Madurai is very close to my heart. This is when there are a couple of incidences I want to speak about. One is when my mother-in-law has told me this, that they were going to Madurai one time, and my mother-in-law was stressed out about being late, or the Sannidhi will close, the temple doors will close, or something like that. And she was going with Ambal, that is Sri Amma. And so my mother-in-law is very concerned the temple is going to close and everything. And then Sri Amma says, I believe, மீனாட்சியோடயே நீ போற, ஏன் கவலைப்படுற? See, very few times, and what that I'll translate it for you. You're going with the Meenakshi herself. Why are you bothered? It's so powerful. It's so powerful. Think about it. She actually revealed who she is. She doesn't do that very often, like this, and people may not even pay attention. Some may miss it. That's how casual she says it sometimes. She who revealed that she is the Meenakshi herself. How beautiful, huh? And there was a time when I was in Madurai, and that was around 2015, I think. And there was a event happening in Madurai, Nandalala event, and she was there for that, and I was there for that too. I wanted to take part in it, and we had gone to this. This, of course, this incident is in the book, but those of you who have not read the book, I'm going to tell you now. Um, we went to a florist to get the poo padam for her because she was coming for the event. So we wanted to welcome her with the poo padam. Not my idea, but the Nandalala volunteers, their idea. And I just accompanied this one devotee to the florist, vendors. I'm telling you, Madurai had a special fragrance that day. Madurai had a beautiful special fragrance that day because the Ambal was there. The actual Meenakshi was there. She's already there, but the actual one in her physical form was there. Sri Amma was there. Special fragrance in the air. I'm not able to tell you, but it's like this. If everybody was given a shot, that happy shot. Everybody was happy. At least I was. Something, that unexplainable happiness that stays with you forever. That kind of happiness was there in that air. She was around. She was there. And it was a special fragrance. And I was there in the vendor's place, and I realized I didn't bring my handbag because of the rush. I forgot my handbag. And obviously, Madurai is known for Malli, Madurai Malli. And me, Madhuri, loves Malli. I love Malipu. So, what a very pitiable state I was in. I was surrounded by vendors, and the Malipu is in hand's reach, but I can't buy any because I had no money. I was standing there helpless, and I just enjoyed that fragrance. And I didn't think, oh no, I didn't. I didn't feel bad. I was just enjoying it anyway. Wow, such beautiful Malli. So what if it's a knot in my hair? I'm enjoying it. That kind of thing. Suddenly, this vendor, the poo florist, one of them, she she's looking at me, and she's got this beautiful smile on her face, and she's smiling at me. And I saw her, and I smiled back. And she says, "Poo vena mama," and you want the flowers. And I said, வேண்டாமா எனக்கு பேக் மறந்து போயிட்டேன் உனக்கு கொடுக்க ஒன்னும் இல்லை எனக்கு I don't have anything to give you, so I don't want it. பரவாயில்ல வச்சுக்கோ, she said. I said, இல்ல எனக்கு வேண்டாமா, எனக்கு பைசா இல்ல. இல்லம்மா வச்சுக்கோ. Before that, she had measured and she had cut it, and she just gave it to me. Before I even said, no, I don't want, explain. No, she cut it and she gave it to me. Just thrust it in my hand. And the way it happened was so fast. Vechikama. The way she said, keep it, my dear, I knew it was not her, it was Amma. It was that Madurai Meenakshi. The way she said, Vechikama, Paravad. Enak kaasu venda. I don't want money. Which florist says that? No, that's not even normal. I don't want money. So there, she gave it to me, and she wanted me to put it right there. in my hair. So I put it in my hair and she said, "Allah." She said, "It looks good." I thanked her profusely. And by then the Padam was ready and we had to leave. And I told the driver to go and give the money back to the florist. The next day I told him, I gave him the money and I said, "You remember the car was in that spot and you remember," because he was there, he was watching that. So I said, "Please go and give the money to her." But then he came back saying that florist was not there the next day. So he couldn't give the money to her, obviously. It all kind of, the puzzle kind of, it's no more a puzzle now. So I went to Amma and I told her, "Thank you for the flowers." Because there's no doubt it was her. I said, "Thank you for the flowers, Amma." And she smiled and she looked at me in so much sureness of what I'm talking about. She knew exactly what I was talking about. She said, "உனக்கு பூ பிடிக்கும்ல அதனால." I was, yes, 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 yes. I do love flowers and she provided the flowers to me appropriate time. That time was perfect. She coming and showing me who she is really. She showed me probably because I could sit here and tell everybody her leelas. The Thiruvalaiyaadal is not only by the Lord, it's also by the Ambal in Madurai. When we were talking about Thiruvalaiyaadal, I have to tell you Ambal's Thiruvalaiyaadal too in Madurai. And she did that. She said, "உனக்கு பிடிக்கும்ல அதனால." You like it, right? That's why. Yes. I cannot forget those incidences in Madurai, especially with Dambal. And this was something stood out. When I speak about Madurai, this incident comes in my mind like it happened yesterday. The way she casually mentions things, it may not be like she will sit you down and say, "Hey, you know what? I'm the Meenakshi." No, it'll be a casual statement. It'll be a very casual statement. And again, we all went to Meenakshi temple together with Ambal, with Sri Amma. And for some reason, the securities actually stopped us saying, "You have to wait." Then I actually casually told Amma, "It's so funny, Amma. You are the Meenakshi and they're not letting you in." And then she looked at me and she smiled. It was so cute. I mean, we were just made to wait for 5 minutes. But she looked at me and she gave me this smile, like, it's like, agreeing with me. I don't know what it was, but she smiled. I think I got something right. Well, those beautiful things. Anyway, Jai Dandalala Madhyoli Charanam.